news and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, this is the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Welcome in. My name is James DeJerome. Brandon is out today. I'm the producer of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Fear not, we've got the same great program for you. I mean, Brandon has built this show over the years. He's been doing it for about 7 years now. He created this great network of professionals. Take time out of their busy day. They come in, provide some information and knowledge, help your dollar go farther in the marketplace. That is what consumer advocacy is all about. That's what Brandon started the show to do for you, is be your advocate out there. In addition to that, we're going to tell you something positive in our Feel Good segment every single day. Of course, Brandon is the owner of the Platinum MVP team. He's a realtor in the Bay Area. And that's kind of how we get started in this Consumer Quarterback Show. You know, he was working with all these professionals every day and thinking, man, all this great information and knowledge. You know, he needed a roofer, a plumber, an air conditioning guy. Maybe your water needs to be fixed. Maybe you need a solar guy. Well, we rounded up all those professionals because Brandon was working with them every day anyway, and now we make their knowledge available to you. So that's the Consumer Quarterback Show. That's what it's all about, value for you. Of course, if you're listening to us on AM 860 every day at 4 o'clock, we want to thank you for doing that. We want to encourage you to check us out online, the TV show available to you at the YouTube channel every day. Of course, if you own a smart TV, you can search Binge Networks for the Consumer Quarterback Show. We've got the Sunday replay on 102.5 FM as well. And, of course, the show is streaming now live. So if you're on a Tuesday or Thursday, if you're around noon or 1 and you want to check us out, jump in the stream and check out the Consumer Quarterback Show live stream. So lots of ways to enjoy the program, lots of value for you. As I mentioned, Brandon has put together this network of partners that you can all check out at consumerqb.com. In addition, we have a great number of sponsors. The sponsor for this segment is the Bilmar Beach Resort. Now, the Bilmar Beach Resort is not a cookie-cutter hotel. It's a boutique hotel. There's not any other hotels like it in our area. 80% of Clyde's rooms, Clyde Smith is the GM, face the ocean, face the Gulf. So if you're looking for a great place to go, a little staycation, you're in Florida, and you want to check out the Bilmar Beach Resort, give Clyde Smith a call directly. Save you some money. Don't worry about the online booking sites. Book directly with Clyde at the Bilmar Beach Resort. He's got lots of things going on down there. Sloppy Joe's. There's always events and parties. Just a real great place to be and hang out. And again, it's a unique spot for us. Check it out. The Bilmar Beach Resort is the official hotel property of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Okay, we've got some real estate properties for you. Every day, every show, we're going to pitch real estate properties for you because we've got inventory. Even in this time of scarcity, Brandon has opportunities for you. So when we go over these properties, any property you hear pitched on the Consumer Quarterback Show, you can find online at consumerqb.com. Johnny is our producer. He's going to throw one up. If you want to get into the Palm Harbor area, 36750 U.S. Highway 19 in Palm Harbor. This is a 2-2. It's inside the Innisbrook Golf Community. It's got a wraparound balcony and great golf course views, stainless steel appliances, updated kitchen, really sharp-looking property. So if you want to get to Palm Harbor, say you're a golfer, 36750 U.S. Highway 19 is for you in Palm Harbor. Again, Brandon's got great opportunities. Here's one in Newport Richey. If you're looking to get into the Newport Richey area, he's a 2-2 with 2 screen balconies, new appliances. He's got a community and a clubhouse, 5727 Biscayne Court in Newport Richey. So a great opportunity for you if you want to relocate to the Newport Richey area. Brandon has got you covered. He's always got real estate opportunities for you, even in this time of scarcity. Get in touch with him and the Platinum MVP team or check him out online at consumerqb.com. All right, in studio today, one of my favorite guests, Fred DeFelice, Water Science US is in here. We talk a lot about water because it's in your body's 99% water, by the way, unless you weren't sure about if it's important to have clean water. It certainly is. How you doing today, Fred?
I'm doing fantastic. So great to be here with you.
And, we talk a lot about what's in the water and what you can do to guarantee that your water's healthy. And, of course, Fred's got a system. We're going to talk all about the way he does things to help ensure that your family gets clean drinking water, and at a very cheap and reasonable price, by the way. But this thing in Oldsmar got us all concerned. We had to bring Fred in. Tell us about what happened. We understand there's a breach in the water system?
Absolutely. Basically what happened, some terrorist, obviously, was able to hack into the computer system.
So our water system, the whole water system is not. It's not a bunch of men standing around, with directing water with hoses and pipes. It's a computerized system that includes injecting different chemicals into our water to get a balance.
Exactly.
So when our water treatment facility is injecting different chemicals into our water to try to produce a balance, and it's all computerized.
It's all computerized. So, for example, they're injecting chloramine, which is chlorine and ammonia, right? They're injecting fluoride, which we're going to talk about later, and And there's other components. Now, the sodium hydroxide that they put in the water has some benefits for keeping things clean in certain ways. It really is a specialized reason why they use it. Sodium hydroxide, people would know more so of its name called lye, right? And
So they're putting lye into the water. And now, again, I'm not a scientist.
Yep.
They have a reason for this.
they have a reason, and it can put it in a small amount. It's no problem.
Okay.
So this guy was able to hack in there, and he adjusted the setting to increase that. I think it was like 100 times more.
So an unscrupulous individual, a bad actor out there, is able through his computer to get into the water treatment facility,
Yep.
and he can adjust the chemical concentration in our drinking water.
Yep.
And he attempted to poison folks.
Yeah, he attempted to put this particular chemical in at that great amount, which the first thing that would happen, it would burn your skin. And God forbid if you drank it, it would burn your insides at that volume.
Can you imagine the damage?
Yeah.
Guys out there, do you think about the water treatment facility? Think about everyone touched by that?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Now, fortunately, one of the employees was monitoring the system. And, if you have a computer guy come and work on your computer remotely, you can
Right.
see the mouse and everything.
That's right.
And he was able to see that going on. So right away, he alerted his supervisors. They called in the FBI immediately.
Absolutely. There's
And-
no question this is an act of domestic terrorism.
Absolutely.
The amount of damage you can do affecting the water supply?
Yeah.
Wow. It's so hard to believe that we have these vulnerabilities out there. You don't want to consider that someone could do that kind of thing.
Yeah. And look, anything can go wrong even with the computer system as it is.
Right.
And all of a sudden, we're getting an imbalance of chemical.
And it's certainly when you pour a glass of water from your tap, it's going to look the same to you. You're not going to
It
pick it up
will.
with the naked eye.
It will.
Wow. So this is a really scary situation out there, folks.
Yeah, I'm following this closely because I really hope they find who's ever been responsible.
Absolutely.
This may lead to other things,
And we need to close every loophole possible.
Absolutely.
Keep that water. I mean, outside of oxygen, that's it. There's nothing else, right? You got to have it.
Yeah. You can go, what was it? You can go without food for so many days, but you can't go out without water. So
But people have no idea. You talk about the showering, the bathing, everything you're cooking with. Water is so intrusive. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't have it taken care of, if you don't have a solution out there. I mean, we talk a lot on the show about how, we're old enough to remember the tap water and the hose on the side of the house and how
Yeah.
comfortable you were drinking out of that. Kids today don't want anything to do with tap water. They look at you like you're crazy if you try to pour
oh
a
yeah,
glass out of
it's
the sink.
everything is bottled water for them.
Bottled water is so expensive, and we talk a little bit about the bottled water challenge. Fred, if you could, just tell them a little bit about that.
Well, basically, a lot of our customers are telling us how much they're spending a month on bottled water.
Right.
And big family, they're spending $60, $70 a month. We had one family spending $100 a month.
Just a totally new expense. As a result of modern times, this is something you got to do.
Yeah. So we like to educate people the best we can. 90% of bottled water has microplastic particles. 90% of bottled water is reverse osmosis, which has no benefit, no minerals. So there's a lot of things why you wouldn't even want to drink bottled water.
I hate to bring up the green aspect, but I always think about those plastic bottles, man. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
They take forever to get rid of.
Yeah, and people are doing the best. They're recycling things. Those bottles aren't getting recycled. I hate to tell you that.
The volume's just overwhelming.
Yeah, there's no way.
I just find it unusual to me, the solution. I remember this years ago. I had a discussion with a friend of mine about bottled water and how they're going to make the bottles themselves more susceptible to breaking down. They're going to make them less sturdy, I guess.
Yep.
But the thing is, they start to degrade while the water's still in the bottle, Fred.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So in an effort to reduce the lifespan of the plastic bottle in the
In the landfill.
in the landfill, we've made the bottle degrade faster, which just puts
Yeah.
the plastics in our drinking water.
Yeah. Some of our listeners may remember, I'm old enough to remember that you had a deposit on glass bottles when
Yeah.
the Coca-Cola
That's
bottles
right.
and stuff. And they were able to reuse those. And man,
Kids used to go around collecting bottles for money.
yeah.
Unbelievable that
yeah.
where we are now. We have to
Yeah.
pay for the privilege of buying bottled water and polluting our environment. It really is a crazy situation we've got ourselves into, Fred.
Yeah. It is.
Now, you've got the solution to all this, at least it's not in terms of that crazy hacking story, which, again, is something you need to keep an eye on, everybody. But in terms of the bottled water challenge, let Fred come out and test your water.
Yeah, and basically we really simplified our process. First of all, we don't have salesmen. I'm the owner of the company. You're going to be dealing with me. A phone conversation, 5 or 10 minutes.
Right.
We can tell exactly what size system we're going to recommend. Upfront pricing, we have no secrets. You'll know exactly what the costs are. And we're rolling out this year a rental program.
Okay.
So people that don't own a home right now and they're renting can't get financing for that, but we can rent the system to them.
Fred's got a solution for you now. If you're listening and you've got a water softener, just say, hey, I got a water softener. I don't need this system. Tell them about water softeners, Fred.
Yeah. If you have a water softener, you really want to do your own investigating, but I can tell you there's really not too much good about them.
It's salts, right?
Yeah, it actually, the purpose of a water softener is to remove the minerals, which makes the water hard.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, you're taking out the minerals that are healthy.
Right.
And in the process, because this has to backwash with salt, you're putting sodium in the water. We don't recommend you drink water from a water softener.
Right. Now, just to show you Fred's on the level here, when Fred comes out to do your water test, he doesn't try to scare you, say, hey, look, you got minerals in your water. He says, it's good. Look what's in your water. This is good stuff. Like, he's not trying to give you just clean, 100% water. Tell him about there's good stuff in the water too, Fred.
The minerals are incredible, are
right.
essential, So once you clean everything else out
mm-hmm.
and leave those minerals in, the pH is great. It's alkaline. And then in addition to that, our under-sink system, which we really recommend.
Yeah, I like this one.
It treats the water for fluoride, pharmaceutical drugs, microplastic particles, and it increases the alkalinity.
And it's so easy when you're cooking to use the sink rather than have to go to a certain water source in your house,
Yeah.
The under sink unit he's going to put in, totally organic material, so he's not fighting chemicals with chemicals, which is very good. Right. But I'm saying, when you're cooking, you just want to go to the sink, you want to pour a glass, you want to fill a pot or a pan. Yeah. You don't want to have to wait and get specialized filtered water to do that. It's so nice to have the convenience of your tap like it used to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's the beauty of Fred. We're going to talk a lot more about his system when we come back from this break right now. So waterscience.us. Fred's going to answer all your water questions. And again, this breach in Oldsmar was scary for everybody. Just something to consider that your water's everywhere around it. It's everything to us. If we don't have it, we're in big, big trouble. When we come back, we're going to talk more with Fred about that. And don't forget, I have a feel-good story for you about a Chick-fil-A employee who won a car at a raffle. You won't believe what she did with it. Don't go anywhere, and check us out online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, with your Pasco County real estate market update for residential listings in Pasco County. At the end of 2020, December 2020, we had 1,361 properties available. That is down 1,429 less listings, and that's down 51.2% year over year. Now, looking at the sales, you had 1,260 properties sell at the end of December 2020. That's plus 156 sales, plus 14.7%. So dividing the solds by the listed, that gives us a 93% absorption rate. Wow, 93% absorption rate, and it's only a 1.08 month supply. It's a strong seller's market in Pasco County, and my wife Lindsay and I own a top real estate team here in Tampa Bay, top 1% ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay. So if you're selling property, we would love to talk to you to help you maximize the exposure, maximize the profits, and I'm a certified negotiation expert, so we can help you win in your real estate deals. Give us a call, 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Also, you can view the website at consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb.com. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate your support, and we'll see you on the radio. 4 o'clock drive time, AM 860 The Answer.
My friends, when choosing a listing agent to sell your home, their track record is critically important. Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Real Estate. They're consistently rated by the MLS in the top 1% of all Tampa Bay realtors, and that's a big deal. Brandon and Lindsay are always among the top realtors in the state. Call them today at 813-750-0550.
Find them at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
That's right, consumerqb.com, your resource to find all our partners and our great sponsors. We have one for this segment as well, the Golf Cart Depot, also known as Discovery Golf Cars. Boy, everyone needs a golf cart these days. If you've been in any of these neighborhoods, say Halloween, every kid is trick-or-treating and they got a golf cart, family's got a golf cart. Then during the day, I'm watching these kids get pulled on, they're pulling each other on skateboards all around the neighborhood with a golf cart. So between the walking the dog and everything else, now a golf cart is pretty much necessary for every family. So if you get in touch with Discovery Golf Cars, also known as Golf Cart Depot, they sell them new and used. They got all different makes and models, and they sell financing available. They got locations all over the place. Check them out. Discovery Golf Cars, a great sponsor of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And, of course, as I mentioned, Brandon, owner of the Platinum MVP team. He's a Keller Williams agent. He's got real estate opportunities for you, even in this time of scarcity throughout the Bay Area. If you are interested in any of the properties you hear me pitch on the show, get in touch with Brandon, and he's going to give you an opportunity to tour those and check them out. Let's see what Johnny's got for us here. We got two. If you're looking to get into Palm Harbor, 4209 Preserve Place. This is a condo. 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, vaulted ceiling, spacious layout. It's got new granite counters and accent lighting. The kitchen's been redone. Everything looks really sharp inside. So if you want to relocate to Palm Harbor, 4209 Preserve Place, Brandon's got a 2-2 opportunity for you. Here's Clearwater. So if you want to get into a location in Clearwater, this is a commercial opportunity at 1180 Clearwater Largo Road. This is 2,370 square feet, right in a hot corner location with 2 garage doors. It's got an office and a storefront. About 40 to 50,000 vehicles a day drive past this spot. So if you're looking to open a business, great commercial opportunity for Brandon in the Clearwater area, 1780 Clearwater Largo Road. Again, get in touch with Brandon Rhymes and the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams for all the real estate opportunities you hear pitched on the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we were talking with Fred DeFelice. He's from Water Science US. We've had a bunch of water issues right here in our own backyard, in addition to the kind of thing that goes on everywhere around the world. And we mentioned before the break of microplastics. And, we talked about the plastic bottles and the fact that these plastics are everywhere. Not just the bottles. The bottles can be found at the bottom of the ocean. They're everywhere. You can't get away from the plastic bottles. But the actual particles are so small that they're in our tissue, they're in our water, they're inside us. Now, every human person on the planet has microplastics inside them.
They do, and the body can't assimilate it, can't do anything with it.
It's just not breaking down out there, so it's nowhere to go.
Right.
So one of these few systems out there that can take microplastics out of your drinking water, Fred's got this under-the-counter thing, and you got one outside, too.
Yeah, the whole house system outside will reduce some of the microplastic particles.
Right.
But the under-sink unit has been tested to remove 100%.
Now, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that, again, we're talking about organic material, right? It's coconut husks?
Yeah, the whole house system starts out with coconut shell, catalytic carbon.
Wow.
The only thing that was proven and tested to remove chloramine.
Right.
Chloramine for people, it's chlorine and ammonia mixed.
None of this stuff sounds good. Every time you come in here and tell me what they're putting in the water, I wonder why we're doing that. I know they're trying to make it healthy, but it just seems like we're adding too much stuff.
Well, they have to deal with bacteria. Think about it. You got thousands of miles of pipe under the streets, right? Getting to your home. And bacteria grows. Yeah. Once the ground heats up, bacteria can grow.
But what about stuff they put in the water that's supposed to be good for us? Like this fluoride thing, Fred. Is that going to make my teeth whiter or less cavities for my kids?
It's actually going to make them worse.
Wait.
So let's start out with this. First of all, the fluoride they put in the water is not what the dentist uses on your teeth. It's a waste product from the aluminum industry. Mm-hmm. Now, you can't even bury it in the ground. You can't get a permit to bury it.
Oh, man.
Somehow the scientists that they hired, Alcoa Aluminum, proved to the committees or town fathers that it's safe to put in the water, all right? Here's what I'd like our listeners to do. Take a look at your Crest toothpaste tube.
Right.
It says, do not swallow. If you swallow it, contact the poison control immediately.
Right on your toothpaste, it says that.
Right on the toothpaste. Now, that's pharmaceutical grade fluoride. In fact, some studies say that a little amount that you put on your toothbrush is about the same amount of fluoride in a glass of water. So I guess if you're drinking a glass of water with fluoride,
right.
you should
don't
really be calling, don't swallow it, or call poison control.
Now, like I said, I understand that there's reasons these town commissions and these county commissions and these people, these local politicians get together and they say it's not safe. We have to add these chemicals in there.
Yeah.
But it just sets up a scenario whereby we're adding so much stuff to the water that we're getting away from the health of it.
We are. Yeah. Fortunately, we can deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to deal with it properly. People are in the misconception that a water softener will purify their water. It won't
Not
do
the
anything
case.
like that. No, it's going to remove minerals. That's it.
And it's adding that salt back into the water system, so it's killing our water system.
Well, yeah, it's putting it right into your drinking water in the home.
Mm-hmm.
But the discharge from it is polluting the environment.
Right.
And many states have banned them outright, not allowed to put them in. And there's talk that eventually Florida is going to ban them.
I imagine, we talk a lot about our population expanding and we're growing and building everywhere. Water's an issue. Pretty soon we're going to be fighting over water like California.
Yeah. California has to deal with drought conditions.
Right.
So they're always finding ways to not waste it.
Mm-hmm.
Here, we're wasting water like crazy, but we're growing to the point where
Yeah.
they keep talking about blending the water from the sewage plant.
Because we just don't have the resources anymore.
Exactly.
So it's that toilet to tap,
Yeah.
that concept.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't sound appetizing, does it, folks?
But we can take care of it. This is the important thing I
That's
want
right.
people to know. It's not a big deal for us.
Waterscience.us got a system for you that will give you clean, safe drinking water right out of the tap
Yep.
and at a less than bottled water price.
Oh, absolutely.
That is so awesome.
Yeah. Like I say, we have financing starting at like $29 a month or even less, depending on your system.
Fred's going to come right out to your house, test your water, show you what's in it. And, I just love the way they do business. He's going to tell you, hey, your water's fine. If it's fine, he's not going to try to sell you a system. It's just that simple.
Right.
That's the best thing about Fred. He's so upfront and so
Yeah.
transparency with you on the sales side.
If you twist my arm hard enough, I'll sell you a system.
That's right. Just trying to educate folks out there about what's in your water because it's something, none of us really can see through the water. None of us know what's in unless we get someone to test it. And, of course, like we talked about, it's pervasive. It's everywhere. You're showering, you're bathing, your kids are playing in the pool. Everything you do, you're exposed to water.
I'm glad you mentioned pool.
Yeah.
There's more chlorine in your tap water than in your swimming pool.
Really?
That's true.
Unbelievable.
About 3 times as much.
The water you're going to drink has more chlorine in it than your pool water.
Yeah. So if you're taking a shower after you're coming out of the pool, don't even bother.
You're adding. Wow. All right, Fred, what is the best way for folks who want to get you to come out? How do they get in touch with you to come out to the system, show them the system?
The best thing, if you would email me at fred@waterscience.us,
Okay.
I will send you a link with information about fluoride. There's a great video you can watch. The phone number is 727-804-4562, and that's my cell phone. Comes direct to me.
Fred DeFelice.
4562.
Fred, second generation plumber, master plumber.
Yeah.
Been around water and pipes his whole life, knows everything that's going on in your house before you know it. I brought him out. He fixed my shower just trying to sell me a water system. He ended up fixing the shower for me. So get in touch with Fred DeFelice, Water Science US, one of our great partners and someone who's looking out for you out there because your drinking water is a primary issue that you better take care of. It better be clean and something that we want to do for you. All right, I got a quick feel-good story for you about this girl from Chick-fil-A. She actually, 17-year-old Chick-fil-A employee in Wisconsin, won a new car at a Christmas party raffle. She figured her coworker needed it more. She saw her biking it every morning through the Wisconsin cold. Happened to be that the young girl was from Hawaii, so she said, hey, don't worry, we got you a big car. Gave it to her. Now I can go grocery shopping just like the rest of us. She said I can work 5 minutes from home instead of 2 hours early to get here. A million possibilities for her now just because of the kindness from a Chick-fil-A, her fellow Chick-fil-A employee. So an act of kindness. As always, we encourage you to commit a random act of kindness, just like Brandon does. We want you to check out all our partners at consumerqb.com. Do something nice for each other and do that random act of kindness. I want to thank Brandon for giving me the opportunity to sit in the chair today. Thanks so much for letting me host the show, Brandon. And check us out online, consumerqb.com.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Check on Brandon's audio. Brandon, say something for me, Brandon.
Hello, hello. This is Brandon Faust. I'm going to lower this just a tad.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Let me know when we're ready to resume. Alrighty, everyone please stand by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
That's right. Get in touch with Brandon Rhymes for all your real estate needs. He's got properties for you, even in this time of scarcity throughout the Bay Area. And, of course, he's put together the show for us, got together a bunch of partners and sponsors. We've got a sponsor for this particular segment is Replenish IV Solutions. Really cool business model with Replenish IV Solutions, rather. Steve and Lisa Gunnan, longtime friends of the program, have been developing this business over time. And what they do is they infuse you with a vitamin drip, so vitamins and minerals right into your bloodstream. We're all worried about our immune system these days, and certainly with this virus going around, we want to make sure that it's as strong as can be. Well, that's what Replenish IV Solutions is all about, man. They've got science on their side. They're going to use science to improve your immune system. And if you can't get to one of their Bay Area locations, they'll come right to you. So get in touch with Steve and Lisa Gunnan, Replenish IV Solutions. Check them out online, replenishivsolutions.com. Okay, we got a couple of properties. As I mentioned, Brandon is a realtor, and he still has real estate opportunities, even when most realtors do not. The Bay Area, as you know, does not have a lot of opportunities out there. Brandon still has a couple online. So we're going to show you a few properties here on the show. And if you're interested in any of the properties you hear pitched on the show, get in touch with Brandon and the Platinum MVP team. Here's one in Clearwater. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath with a 2-car garage, private sun deck, and a private apartment, 1010 Bay Esplanade in Clearwater Beach. If you're looking to relocate to the Clearwater Beach area, get in touch with Brandon. Really cool updated kitchen, white cabinetry, just like we talk about the latest look from Chris Robinson at About Face Cabinetry. 1010 Bay Esplanade, a great opportunity in Clearwater Beach. Get in touch with Brandon and the Platinum MVP team. What else we got, John? Here's one in Tampa. So if you want to relocate to Tampa, he's got a 3-bedroom, 3-bath with a carport, 1813 East Knollwood Street in Tampa. Large fenced private backyard, real close to downtown. So if you want to get into the Tampa area and be close to downtown, get in touch with Brandon, 1813 East Knollwood. He's got a 3-bedroom house for you. Great opportunity for you. Again, Brandon still has great opportunities for you, even in the time of scarcity. Get in touch with him and the Platinum MVP team, and check us out online at consumerqb.com. Okay, joining us for this segment is Brandon Faust, Mold Zero. He's been on the show a couple of times, does a great job of explaining this. This is an area where I had a blind spot on this. I didn't understand, I understand humidity. We live in Florida. It's hot. It's wet all the time. I didn't think of mold. I mean, I knew what mold was, but I didn't think of it as affecting my health, or certainly not something that could damage my property, do real damage to the value of my home. But I was wrong. It turns out Brandon has lots of stories about folks that had issues with mold and didn't even know about it. And before we get started, Brandon, I want to thank you for coming in. I always think of mildew as nothing harmful at all. It's just something that you can wipe off with a rag or towel. You've kind of educated me about what mildew is. Just tell folks out there what mildew is.
Yeah, I mean, mildew is really a euphemism for mold. Okay. Right? Now, that's not to say that you don't have some growth that could wind up like on a biofilm in your shower, right, that looks like mold. But usually if you're seeing some sort of growth, we're past the point you want to be. It means that there's airborne spores that is now starting to manifest on some sort of surface. The biggest concern I would have as a parent or as somebody that has had my own health impacts related to mold is that how high is the spore count in the actual building envelope.
Every time you come in here, I learn something else. As you can see, this is an area that a lot of technical expertise is required. I always think of it as, there it is, and I wiped it away. The idea that it's in the air and it's particulate matter that I'm breathing in, that makes it all more real for me, because now I realize how it's getting inside me and how easily it can get inside me.
100%. So I was actually at a home yesterday, and the lady had been going to a functional medicine doctor. The doctor had found mold in her bloodstream. And said, look, you really need to get this checked out. Call Mold Zero. And we went in there, and right out the gate, I look over to her vents, and within 30 seconds, I'm seeing the issue, and she's going on a whole long sort of explanation that she doesn't see any mold in the house. She doesn't see why the doctor would have referred us, but he did. So please take a look and see what you can find. So I went in there, looked at the actual vents themselves, looked into the actual ducts and the boot of the duct, and there basically was growth all throughout the boot and actually on the vents themselves.
And like you said, once we're at that point,
yeah, if you're there, that's the last place you're going to see it. So you definitely have it at that point in the actual system. So you could go, well, let's get the ducts cleaned. And believe it or not, her mom had actually just done that same process where she had a growth, and somebody had come in and said, look, you need to get your entire ducts replaced, because they tried to clean the ducts using the brush system, and it shredded her ducts. So then they had to pay a huge amount of money for the ducts to be fully replaced. So not to say that the duct shouldn't have been replaced, because if you try to clean it and it damages it, you don't really have an option.
Right.
But there may have been a step that you could have taken before going there, which is doing a whole home sanitization and sanitizing the ducts and killing what's inside of it. Because as soon as you're going to go in there with these brushes, you are going to agitate what's in there, and it is going to go around the rest of the house.
You guys have that dry fog?
That's exactly right. So we have a particular technology that we use. It is a dry fog, and what that means is that the size of the particulate that we're putting out there is under 10 microns. Now, to kind of not talk nerdy, but just to put it in perspective, you can fit 10 mold spores on the tip of a hair. So
tiny.
Very tiny, and this is even tinier than that. So
Gotcha.
the size of the droplets that we're creating are actually 1/3 the size of a mold spore.
Amazing.
So literally, you could fit 30 of them on the tip of a hair. So it just bounces around until it evaporates, right? Because it doesn't splatter. It's too tiny for it to actually splatter. So it doesn't leave any sort of residue or wetness. Electronics can stay in the home. Your furniture all stays in the home. So it's safe, and it's also non-toxic. It's hydrogen peroxide and a commercial grade vinegar. So you can actually be back in the home 3 hours after we've done the fogging. Now, with that said, that's a treatment that we do with every home that we end up basically treating or handling. Right. But in some cases, you're going to need to do the actual traditional remediation, which we also do, where we would remove the contaminated material. So there are certain myths in regards to mold that we could also talk about if you want. But in regards to like the wet molds or the more toxic molds that actually come from a water intrusion event, those are not the types of molds that we're going to use the fogging only as a solution. Yes, we will use it at the tail end once we've done the containment and we've done the vacuuming and we've done the wipe down and we've done all of that type of stuff. Yes, we'll do the traditional remediation, but then we'll come in to make sure that the entire building envelope is safe. Because the spores don't just stay in one spot. That's just like kind of a bit of maybe a hope or a desire, but it's just not an isness. It's not a truth.
So a lot of folks think they understand mold because they understand one type, but there's so many different types.
That's true. That's absolutely correct. So, you have the toxic type and black mold, which everybody's heard about.
Yeah, sure. That's the one people always think, oh, no.
Black mold, right? Stachybotrys. But that is one type of toxic mold. And there's actually, a number of different types. And even one of them that you would consider to be a pathogenic mold, which you hear about as well, which is Aspergillus, and it usually goes in the same sentence as Aspergillus penicillium. Well, that particular mold, it's a white mold most of the time, and they can have different colors, but that mold puts out 5 different mycotoxins, Aspergillus in particular, which is extremely devastating for some people, And then penicillin or penicillium, that's where penicillin actually derives from, that antibiotic, right? So, and of course, it's fighting a living organism. Well, some people are allergic to that, and it can cause a serious problem for them. Same type of thing. They get into a home where there's high Aspergillus penicillium, and they're having hives, they're having a reaction of magnitude. So, and then the next level, which is honestly the least concerning of all, is a allergenic mold. But that's the one that you see in the vents. That's the one that you see in the ducts all the time in Florida, just due to the nature of the environment we're living in. Spores come in, they get past the actual filter, the coils get wet, and you have AC companies that sell, whole home purifying devices, which is fine. It's better than nothing. But at the same time, you can put one of those purifying devices in, let's say, a garbage dump, and it's not going to bring down the levels, right? You need to reset the house. Then you put in the purifying device, and it helps to extend the length of that great indoor air quality.
Well, I tell you, well, just listening to you talk, you can tell how extensive your knowledge is on this subject. Another thing that occurs to me is the variety of symptoms that folks would experience as a result of exposure is going to vary because there's so many types of mold. So say I have someone, I don't feel particularly well, and a friend who has had a mold experience said, hey, it could be mold, but I had headaches and I didn't have respiratory. Well, that can't be. Well, there's so many different kinds of mold that your response can be different. And if one person can result in lung irritation, one person has eye problems, because they're just different molds.
Absolutely, and it's also different immune systems. Okay. So whatever part of that body that's having a weakness or is potentially being overworked, whatever it may be, that might be the area that their body starts reacting. Because the body is going to release histamines in order to combat the foreign invader. So you really have two different factors. One is the spore kind of entering the body, and the other factor is the mycotoxin, which not all molds release a mycotoxin. Many of them do. Mm-hmm. And myco means fungus, and toxin is a poisonous substance, right? So it releases actually a poisonous gas. So those are two things that you have to be concerned about. Now, for example, in this home that I was at yesterday, she had an allergenic mold, but her daughter had a chronic cough, runny nose, bloody noses, all kinds of stuff. And then you see it in the ducts, and it's no wonder whatsoever, right? Same thing with her. So they were having different reactions, but both of them were reacting to that allergenic mold that was in their ducts and in their AC system.
So I can see you're coming into it like a detective, trying to gather clues and figure out what the symptoms are and what you can see and not see and what you feel. And then, of course, we talked about the home, potential humidity or moisture intrusions into the home. So it's quite a bit of detective work you have to do to figure out which harmful bacteria, which harmful mold is present. Then what's the best method for treating this situation, and then how to develop a responsibility among the customer there that, hey, your health is being impacted here. You need to understand that if you start experiencing this irritation of your throat, eyes, nose, whatever it might be, this is a possibility here that you need to investigate.
Yeah, I actually had a lady that had come to work with us, and she was reading through our literature, and red flags were going off for her, and she was like, look, I need you to come inspect my home.
Right.
So of course I did. And then she had a water intrusion issue where the soap dish was detached from the actual shower wall for a long time. And the water was getting in behind the wall and then into her master bedroom, on her tack strips, and then into her carpet. So I went in there and started investigating, found out that her husband also had an issue with his leg having been swelling up and asthma type symptoms and all kinds of physical issues. So we got in there, started cutting out the carpet, removed the tack strips, and then we looked behind the wall. Sure enough, there's also the toxic mold. So she had a number of different molds that were present right near her master bedroom, and her son, who was 2 years old, was also having physical issues, and his room is right across the way, so we should be getting the results back on her home today. And as soon as, if it's at normal levels or safe levels, they'll move back in. And if not, we're going to go back in and retreat it. And that's part of what we offer is a 1-year warranty and also a clean bill of health guarantee for our clients. So those samples have to come back at a safe level for us to walk away from a job after we've having completed the job.
Brandon Faust, Mold Zero. That is so awesome. You can hear the amount of knowledge the gentleman has in this subject and how woefully uneducated most consumers are out there when it comes to mold, the varieties, and all the symptoms that you can experience. We're going to come into a break now. When we come back, I want to talk about some of the mythology around mold. A lot of people think they understand it or they actually have no idea what it is. Brandon's going to help us understand exactly what the dangers are to you and how you can combat this silent killer. Mold is everywhere in Florida, so don't go anywhere. Check us out online. Again, this is the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're here for you. Brandon Rhymes created this great show for us. We're going to do a feel-good story when we come back, and we're going to visit with Brandon Faust, Mold Zero. He's got some real information for you.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, Real Estate Quarterback Show. and talking about the Pinellas County update. Here's the updated residential listings and sales for Pinellas County. At the end of December 2020, the latest statistics from the GTAR, the Real Estate Board, we have over 2,985 properties available for sale at the end of December 2020. Now, out of those 2,985 properties, 2,107 sold. So we're up 172 sales. That's plus 8.9%. So the inventory is down, sales are up, and it's a great market to be in. You had 2,107 sold, divided by the amount of listed, it's a 71% absorption rate. And if you divide that out, that gives you a 1.41 month supply of inventory, meaning it's a strong seller's market. So we would love to talk to you if you're thinking about listing a property. We help sellers maximize the exposure on the sale of their real estate properties by featuring them on our show. Give us a call, 813-750-0550. Call or text 813-750-0550 and check out consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb.com. Thanks so much. Make it a great day, and we'll see you at 4 o'clock drive time on AM 860 The Answer.
My friends, when choosing a listing agent to sell your home, their track record is critically important. Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Real Estate. They're consistently rated by the MLS in the top 1% of all Tampa Bay realtors, and that's a big deal. Brandon and Lindsay are always among the top realtors in the state. Call them today at 813-750-0550.
Find them at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
That's right. ConsumerQB.com is a site where you can see all the partners and the sponsors for the Consumer Quarterback Show. The sponsor for this segment is Brothers Easy Moving. Whether you're moving local or long distance, Brothers Easy Moving is the company for you. They're the official moving sponsor of the Consumer Quarterback Show. They moved Brandon himself, and once he saw what a good job these folks did, he said, you got to be our moving company. So now, Brothers Easy Moving, all their 5-star reviews, check them out online, is the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Okay, we got one last property of the show because Brandon is a realtor in the Tampa Bay area. He owns the Platinum MVP Team, and he's got real estate opportunities for you, even in this time of scarcity. What do you got for me, Johnny? We're going to throw a property up and see what you want to take a look at here. All right. Hang on one second. We'll get right to that. Let's see. Our property is in Tampa area. Here we are. We got 0.44 acres, an opportunity for you to build at 304 East Waters Ave. You want to build your own property on the corner of Branch and Waters Ave. About 40 to 50,000 vehicles a day go by. So if you've got a commercial opportunity and you're looking for something in Tampa, 304 East Waters Ave, get in touch with Brandon. He's got a great lot for you. You can build your business right there at the corner of Branch and Waters. Okay, we were talking with Brandon Faust. I want to do this feel-good story before we get back to Brandon and some of the mythologies. I told you a little bit about it. A 17-year-old Chick-fil-A employee in Wisconsin won a new car at a company Christmas party raffle and gifted to her coworker who needed it more. Haley Bridges' friend, a fellow Chick-fil-A employee named Hokie, was commuting to work in the Wisconsin winter by bicycle. I was biking here every morning, so it was a little rough, she said. Because I'm from Hawaii, I felt it was very cold. Well, I'm sure it's cold to everybody in Wisconsin, but the fiercely independent Hawaiian native braved through it. She may have underestimated the hearts of her fellow coworkers, though. It was kind of like a rumor that Chick-fil-A is going to be a car giveaway at our Christmas party. We all put in a raffle, and one of us gets it, and we all said if one of us wins the car, we're going to give it to her, no matter what happened. And that's what she did. When Bridges heard her name called as the winner of the car, she said the moment was surreal. Hugged each other, cried so much, everyone was either clapping or crying. We had a big group hug, and everyone near us felt it was a surreal experience. So now that she has a car, she said, I can go grocery shopping. I can go to work like 5 minutes before instead of 2 hours early just to get there on time. There's a million opportunities for me. Just a really cool story about a random act of kindness. 2 employees helping each other out, and that's what we're all about on the Consumer Quarterback Show, trying to inject some positivity for you. Brandon Faust, Mold Zero, also doing a great job for us in educating consumers about this silent killer that is mold. In Florida, with our humidity and our weather down here, this is something you better get educated on. Homeowner, renter, doesn't matter. If this is in your house, you need to take care of it. What are some of the myths about this, Brandon?
I think the biggest one that we hear a lot is, look, I just sprayed it down with bleach. and that's going to handle it. And the biggest problem with that is that you basically are aerosolizing the spores, because when you attack it, it's not that you're not going to get rid of some of it, but you are going to agitate it, and it's going to go into defense mode, and it's also going to go into hyper replication mode. So, for example, when we do our treatment and we do air samples 3 minutes into our treatment, it exponentially goes up. One place we treated, it was 6,000 per cubic meter, and then we started the treatment and went up to 980,000.
Because that initial reaction is, uh-oh.
Yeah, exactly. So it goes into like a mold explosion.
Right.
So you really don't want to hit it with bleach. You're going to have it backfire on you.
And you can't see the harmful effects, right? What you're wiping away with a towel or a rag is not what you're breathing in.
Not at all. You're talking about something that's microscopic,
right.
So you don't want to do that. The next thing is that, hey, it's not a toxic mold. Don't worry about it, right? Truthfully, every type of mold that's out there is not particularly one that you want in your home, right? But it does matter on the level. So depending on the type of mold, there are certain levels that are acceptable and others that are not. So you really do need to get a professional to look at it. But truthfully, even that professional has to take into consideration the person that they are working for, right? Because some person might be extremely sensitive. Their immune system might be hyperactive, and then they go into a full-blown, attack that somebody else, they can be in there and it's totally fine.
So an infant, a senior versus somebody who's 25 years old, perfect health, different reactions.
And an infant is going to breathe so many more breaths than, an adult. Right. So they could have a bigger impact. Like my son, when he was a month old, he was having a really hard time breathing, and what I found was that, yes, we had mold growing in the room where the actual AC was pulling, we had a leak because my mom had come to visit, so that air was blowing around the house, impacting my son. We did the treatment, and then the next night he slept an hour longer and had no difficulty breathing.
How about that?
So also, hey, don't worry about it. Every home has mold. Yes, there's truth. Every home in Florida does have mold, but you also have to make sure it's at an acceptable level. The other one that you hear that kind of goes along with that is, hey, don't worry about it. It's just that old Florida smell, right? Well, that old Florida smell translates into, hey, that's musty. And if that's musty pretty much means mold.
Right.
So if you're smelling it at that level, that's absolutely a red flag and something that you want to get samples done on, or you want to do a deeper dive on that somehow and find the actual mold itself. For example, my wife and I were looking at a spot for her business that she was opening yesterday, and as soon as I walked in, I was like, it smells moldy in here, okay? And the real estate agent almost started laughing at me, thinking, oh, you're just paranoid, right?
Right.
Well, yeah, give me 2 minutes, and I walk over into the corner, and I found a bunch of black mold, up in the corner up there, like zero question about it, undeniably black mold. And that's something that, you're going to want to walk away from, or at least make sure it gets handled before you inherit somebody else's problem. So the other one is that, hey, you have to tear it out, You don't always have to tear it out. It depends on the type of mold. Some of it can be just surface mold, and depending on how impacted the material is, you're going to do a wipe down and then a whole home sanitization to make sure that the airborne spores are taken care of. But yes, again, if it is a water mold or a toxic mold like that, it's actually impacted the material. Yeah, you're going to want to remove that impacted material.
Back to that detective thing with Brandon is, say he discovers it and they get into the wall and he's got to open the wall. That is getting rid of the affected material, but we have to find out why that spot got the way it is. Yeah. So in addition to just replacing the wall material that he's going to rip out, and he's got to figure out like a detective, how did it get here so we can close down this access point?
Absolutely. So we were talking about that at our morning meeting. We have a morning meeting every day where we go over with the inspectors and the actual techs, the estimators, right? And one of the places that we had basically started doing the removal of the contaminated material, they did not know where the water source was, right? And it wasn't until we kept going on the removal where we were actually able to find the source. And it was actually from a leak from a condo up above, right? And finally, with that, now the actual cause of it, you're able to stop it, and then you're able to really solve the problem. So sometimes it's really necessary that you do remove the actual material. And that's where it depends on what type of mold, so that you can then make that judgment. You know?
If you talk to builders down here, they'll tell you the combination of wind and weather that we get, water and blowing in the wind, it's going to find a way. I mean, it's a very easy for water to penetrate your house. I mean, it doesn't take a lot with the conditions that we have down here. And once it's in, it's a matter of time with the heat. You're going to get something.
Well, how about the storm surge? I mean, that was another thing, right?
Wow.
You're looking at like Reddington Shores, Indian Rocks Beach, all these different homes that had that, that black water, Category 3 water, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that came in, and you have all kinds of stuff in there, and now it's made the actual materials wet. They didn't jump on it, and now they have mold behind the baseboards, all over. So you wind up with a toxic mess, and that's a real issue. You got to kind of gut the whole place.
Brandon Faust, Mold Zero. How to get in touch with you? If you're listening out there and you need Brandon.
Yep, 727-900-7202. They call that number. We have great office staff. They'll take care of them, get them on the schedule. We'll do a walkthrough, free walkthrough.
Moldzero.com?
Yeah. That's right, moldzero.com. They can also send us a message through there as well.
You got social tags, Facebook, anything like that?
Of course, yeah. On Instagram and Facebook, we're there. I think it's Mold Zero.
Mold Zero. That's Brandon Faust. Great job today, Brandon. Thanks for coming in. We want to encourage everybody out there to commit a random act of kindness, and I want to thank Brandon Rhymes for allowing me to substitute in and sit in his chair today. He'll be back before you know it, and don't go anywhere. The Consumer Quarterback Show is always available for you online at consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.